Okay, I think we should be recording now. So welcome everyone to bi-weekly MicroProfile Hangout. Standing in for Kevin and John today, as neither of them could be here at the start. Thanks for all those for attending. There's not a lot on the agenda today, so it might be quite a quick call. First off, I wanted to go through the MicroProfile 2.2 candidates for February, and then whether there's any updates with any of these. I don't know if there's anyone involved in fault tolerance on the call today. I know a lot of them are probably at DevOps BE. No? Anyone from metrics? No? At this rate, it'll be a really fast meeting. Health check. Looks like there's some items there saying that they've cleaned the backlog and there's a few tasks remaining for 1.1. Sounds good. Okay, so as I can see, James, are there any updates around messaging and operators for reactive?
Operators will definitely be ready in time. Not so sure about messaging. So we'll have to see how well we get our act together with. I mean, the spec itself is there's not too much to do, but it's more around the TCK and how thoroughly we verify it, which we do want a pretty good TCK, but that's going to take time and yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I hope it will.
It certainly would be good if it could make it. So, Mark, is there any kind of update around config that you want to provide?
So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
When you took over the command, I lost the way to unmute myself. I have only in the menu. Anyway, there is kind of we have quite some progress in the config JSR part, and we try to keep config JSR and MicroProfile config in sync. And the problem is we had to go back in MicroProfile in the config JSR and got some changes in there which we want to apply, and then we're gonna continue syncing them up so we have the dynamic changes in there. But first we kind of want to make it really round and add the feedback we got so far. So it will likely take us a month or so, I guess.
So are you finding that that's becoming a problem, the fact that it's a JSR and an evolving thing in MicroProfile to try and keep the two aligned?
No, actually not. Actually, the thing is that we started something, we ported things over from Delta Spike, and we got additional feedback, and we just went through a few iterations where those things just evolved. So if we would have published this as MicroProfile config, let's say 2 months ago, then it would have been okay, but now it's better. So if we would have published this, then we would probably stick with the old, not that perfect solution, because backward compatibility and so on. But since we did those changes and those iterations in config JSR, we rather want to finish this work and then port it back if it's really kind of polished.
Okay.
It's just now we have the option to keep or to break backward compatibility because nothing is released of this stuff yet.
Yeah.
So we got some feedback, we play with it, and if it's properly done, then we push for it.
Okay. That makes sense. REST client, I'm probably the only one here that's involved in that. So I know Andy's been doing some pull requests to the spec to resolve some of the issues. One of them was around being able to specify the HTTP endpoint of the REST client service that you're trying to talk to, so that you don't have to have this really long config name to set the HTTP URL. There's some other stuff we can do there as well, but we haven't gotten there yet. I think the big one that's still outstanding is around supporting kind of the automatic propagation of open tracing client headers, so that if you've got a request coming in and you make a REST client call out, that you don't have to explicitly do anything if open tracing is present for that to get propagated. But at this stage, I don't think there's any issues around it being ready for release sometime in January. Are there any questions around REST client? Okay. And the last one that's on the list at the moment is concurrency.
Yeah, so there's a handful of issues that we still like to sort out in this one. And the TCK is just getting underway now. At this week's meeting, I was planning to bring up with the group what they thought about kind of clamping down on further issues, and so we could have something for a 1.0 version.
So I guess the question there would be, do you think the concurrency spec and TCK are going to be in a position to be released early enough for fault tolerance 2 to rely on it?
All you can do is try.
No, that's fair enough. So that's kind of the status across everything. Is there anything anyone wants to raise or discuss around the status for MicroProfile 2.2, like whether there's additional updates to other specs that aren't already mentioned here?
I can mention a little bit about long-running actions. Now, basically, we are trying to to push it also for 2.2, but we are now stuck with CQRS problems and other solutions. There are still meetings outgoing with Reza Rahman from Axon. So hopefully we are already finished, basically to the point, but we need more people from other companies because we don't have committer rights.
Okay, well, I know, I think Michael Musgrove now is a committer on the project, so hopefully that'll help move things along in terms of merging PRs and stuff like that. In terms of the CQRS stuff, I know there's a call Thursday, I think, to talk about that in greater detail.
Yeah, there already was one last Thursday, and now it's going to be second.
Yeah, so I'm hoping we can get to a point soonish where we know what's going on with all that.
Yes, that would be all. Thanks.
Are there any other questions, comments around MicroProfile 2.2? Okay. Now, the only other thing that John had put on the agenda was to talk about the education videos idea. Now I'm looking at the last call. So it looks like Heiko brought up the idea of creating 5-minute videos for each, I guess, spec within MicroProfile, and potentially some part of a larger marketing campaign. I don't know if anyone has any particular views or thoughts on that idea. Okay, I'm going to take that resounding silence as no one has particular views on the matter, which is fine. One other thing I'll bring up is that this morning I sent out a doodle poll for the next architecture call. I know there's still quite a few things going on there, so I wanted to try and get another call in before the end of the year. So that's kind of looking like the first week of December. So if you can make one of the times there, please respond to the poll, and I'll try and find a time that fits the most people that's possible. Okay, so beyond that, does anyone have any other issues, questions, concerns they want to raise? Okay, well, in that case, I won't keep you guys up. I will say thank you very much for your time today, and I will stop the recording.